Okay, we've just started. Thanks a lot. Just a few words about today. The planned program will last for about 30 to 40 minutes, after which we'll open it up to anyone who'd like to speak here. We'd love to hear from you. And so if you'd like to say a few words, please do later on. We're recording today's session, and we'd appreciate it if you could keep your microphone off. And later on, if you'd like to speak, please use the chat or the raise the hand function in Zoom. And then we'll call on you in sequence. And we hope lots of you speak here. And then I'd now like to introduce my sister Junie to say a few words. Junie? Hello? Mikhal, can you hear me? Can you raise your hand?
We can hear you.
Okay, where's Junie?
Let's just see where Junie Kalat is.
Let's just, maybe she's, okay. Let me, just 1 second.
Okay, for some reason I got disconnected, but I'm back on.
So Junes, it's all yours.
Okay. So many of you on this call knew Mom well, and I'm sure you all have your own wonderful memories. For me, to be her daughter was my blessing and my joy. Mom was the embodiment of elegance, kindness, and generosity. In all my years, I never heard her raise her voice in anger. That's quite extraordinary for anyone, but especially for someone who is 92. She was so appreciative of the smallest things I did for her and always said, "Thank you, beta," which is the Hindi word for my child.
Junie, we missed a bit of your speech.
Okay.
You weren't on.
It's okay, it's being recorded, Asif. She graced my life and lifted my spirits and was a role model for so many with her resilience and her positive take on everything. Having her here with us these past 15 years is such a precious gift. We shared many meals, outings, drives to see the spring cherry blossoms and the fall leaves, traveled to London and India, and especially during the past year and a half, lots of hours of rummy. She usually won. I miss her more than I can say, and I know that no one can fill the void. But I am so grateful for her life and the community she created and nurtured in India, the US, London, Singapore, and everywhere in the world. So I'm now going to hand it over to Mom's much loved younger brother, my Uncle Nazir.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'een. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to Allah, the cherisher and sustainer of the worlds, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of judgment. Thee do we worship, and thine aid we seek. Show us the straight way, the way of those on whom thou hast bestowed thy grace, those whose portion is not wrath, and who go not astray. The youngest of my siblings, Sherry, was 14 years older than me, but I could not have been any closer to her if the age difference had been only a year or two, which is why she asked me to call her Sherry and not Sherbanoo Bai or Appa, like my grandmother kept telling me I should. To me, she personified comfort, love, and dignity. No matter how frazzled I was or how discouraged, being in her presence, even for a short time, gave me comfort and cheered me up. Her gentle voice, her deeds, and the sheer joy she displayed when I did anything for her made me feel special and loved. In matters both small and large, she displayed dignity and style. In the crisp saris she wore daily, in the fresh flowers she arranged carefully in vases, in her afternoon tea routine, and even in the way she approached life-changing decisions. In all of them, her conduct earned admiration and respect. In life, you get to pick your friends, but not your siblings. Having her as my sister was the lottery-winning ticket of my life. May Allah rest her soul in peace and grant her the highest place in Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen.
Thank you, Nazir Mamu. Over the next 5 minutes, my two elder sons, Rian and Mikhal, and myself will read a short biography of Mom's life. And after that, Pinky's son, my nephew Imran, will say a few words and share a beautiful photo and music montage that he's created. So we're just going to get started with the biography. Mom's life through the years. Our dear mom, Sherbanoo Nathani, known to many as Sherry, was born in Calcutta on December 11th, 1928, to Khan Bahadur Ghulam Hussain Dosani, known as KB, and Shireen Dosani. She had 5 siblings, Shiraz and Abdullah, who passed away young, Qasim Ali, known as KG to many, Meena and Nazir. The family lived at 24 Park Lane, and mom attended Loretto House School. One of mom's earliest friends, Auntie Rosalind, who I think is on the call from London, recollects knowing mom 84 years ago when they often walked back together from school. Mom was very fond of Loretto House and remained involved with the school throughout her days in Cal, including a member of the Alumni Association. My aunt Meena and my sisters Junie and Pinky also attended Loretto House, and there are many Loretto alums on this call today. So to them and to mom, I'll say a few words from the Loretto song. Loretto's banner gaily floats in lands both east and west. Loretto's name each girl reveres and holds that ever blessed. Now my son Rian.
In 1935.
Sorry about that. That's Mikhal.
No problem. In 1935, the family moved to 100 Circus Avenue, and 2 years later to Nizam Palace, a grand building at the corner of Kamak Street and Lower Circular Road. Our great-grandfather was the Nizam of Hyderabad's agent in Calcutta, and in return for his service, the Nizam allowed the family to live in 2 bungalows on the magnificent palace grounds, which was quite a treat for Dadi and her siblings and cousins. In 1947, Dadi and her sister, Meena, traveled to London, Ontario to visit their cousin and our Dada, Salim, who was training at a printing and packaging plant in Canada. In 1941, wedding bells rang and Dadi and Dada were married in Calcutta. It was a grand wedding held on the grounds of the late Nizam Palace, or of the Nizam Palace, attended by many and presided over by His Highness, the late Aga Khan. Junie was born later that year, Pinky in 1954, and Mahmood in 1959.
Our family lived in Kamak Street for a year before moving to Park Palace in Park Circus in 1958. We are so glad that some of the friends we made at Park Palace have joined us today. Dad worked at a British company, Jardine Henderson. In 1962, our family moved to a company house on Roland Road. We made many good friends there and are delighted that some of them have joined us today. We have lovely memories of Roland Road, playing badminton on the floodlit court that Dad choked out every winter, the beautiful dahlias and snapdragons in our garden, and the many Eid, birthday, and dinner parties that Dad and Mom hosted at which they served the delicious biryani and samosas conjured by our amazing cook Hassan. I remember fondly the frequent visits with Mom to the Calcutta Swimming Club and the Calcutta Club, where we loved being treated to cokes, chips, and club sandwiches. When Dad left Jardines in 1972, we moved to 60B Charangi Road to live with our grandmother, or Nani Ma as we called her. My uncle KG lived in the same building. Many of you probably remember the Charangi Road flat the best because Mom and Dad lived and entertained there for over 30 years. Visitors were a constant, from cousins and friends stopping on their way to Darjeeling to friends and family visiting from all over India and the world. Dad loved to chat with friends on the veranda where Mom served their guests tea. In 1977, Junie left for the US and Pinky got married, and a year later moved to England. I came into the US to study in 1983. Our Nanima lived with Mom and Dad until her passing in 1989. Other integral members of the household were our Aya, Mangama, our cooks, Hassan and Khurshid, and our drivers, Rujit and Salam. We remember them fondly. And now my son, Rian, will read the rest of Mom's biography.
During the Calcutta years, Dadi was very involved in a number of organizations that did social work, including Women's Friendly, WVS, NIAW, and Time and Talents. She always enjoyed helping others and also loved the social interactions with friends and volunteers in these organizations. Dadi had lived her entire life in Calcutta and had one more move left, halfway across the world. After Dada passed away in 2005, she agreed to move to the US. She arrived in the fall of 2006 and was welcomed with much love and affection by her many DC-based family members. Pinky was only a short flight away in London and saw Dadi at least once a year. Even though she was 76 when she arrived in the US, Dadi adapted well to her new life, making friends, enjoying family get-togethers, and handling new challenges with grace and determination. So many of you have joined us today. Dadi had a unique quality of connecting to people. She accepted people for who they were and never criticized anyone. She was a happy person who touched our lives with her kindness, grace, cheerfulness, and optimism. We will miss her very much. We are also very grateful she lived a healthy and full life. Dadi passed away peacefully on June 2nd, 2021. May her dear soul rest in peace. Amen.
And now Imran.
Wow, firstly, it's amazing to see so many familiar faces. It's not only blown away by how people have come here. So thank you to everyone for being here. It's absolutely amazing. So as I was putting together this video, looking through all of Nani's photos from my time in Calcutta in London, there were two overarching themes which really stood out for me and encapsulated who Nani was for me. Firstly, connecting. She had the most incredible personality, connecting her with everyone she met. Whatever their age, she had the ability to make everyone feel special and meet them where they were in the conversation. Secondly, happiness. Nani, I think, was the most contented person I've ever known in my entire life. She had this innate ability to always think positively on every situation. And it made me realize that when happiness is dependent on perspective, rather than circumstances, it's really up to you to create your own happiness. One story particularly stands out for me. There's a road near my parents' house which is full of roses in the summertime. And I would walk down the road every single day on my way to school and I wouldn't even look at the roses and just walk there. On trip to London, Nani walked down the road and she was so blown away by the roses. She was effusive and made her happy for days afterwards. Every subsequent London, she'd be happy by those roses. And it really stuck with me. There's something which I hadn't noticed at all through my whole life. She made us so happy. A few days after she passed away, I decided I'd walk down the road once again and just the roses. As off the gate to London, it was cloudy and rainy when we left the house. When I got to the road, the clouds parted and the sun came out, and it felt like Nani was saying to me, "Be happy for me. I'm in a better place now." And with that, I would like to show the video.
Can you see this?
Yeah.
All right.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? what she said to me. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart what lies ahead. Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. Now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. Que sera, sera.
बहारों फूल बरसाओ, मेरा महबूब आया है, मेरा महबूब आया है। बहारों फूल बरसाओ, मेरा महबूब आया है, मेरा महबूब आया है। हवाओं रागनी गाओ, मेरा महबूब आया है, मेरा महबूब आया है।
Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Somewhere over the rainbow.
Be happy. I think she is happy at the moment. Remain happy.
Just eating her sweet potato. The rainbow, why oh why?
Love you, Daddy.
I love you. Say bye, Daddy. We miss you.
Miss you.
If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Looking forward to where the road leads you, high school seniors. The University of Baguio envisions itself not simply as a
Thank you. Thank you, Imran, for putting that together.
what's-
but as every student
Your Nani loved you dearly, and she would have loved your words in that video.
Business
I'd now like to have my cousin Farida, who is like another daughter to mom, and whose love and presence all these years did so
Public
much.
safety takes you from crime scene to court with criminology and forensic science.
Sorry, we have a little.
Sorry, I don't know.
It wouldn't be a Zoom meeting without a.
Without a glitch.
So Farida, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Imran. That video was so moving. It moved me to tears. It was just not easy for me because I'm not given to crying much. But, you know, I was very fortunate. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was very fortunate over the years to have been very, very close to my dearest Khala. Growing up in Dhaka, which was then East Pakistan, you know, Calcutta was so close, and my Nana Nani's home was always welcoming, and we spent most of our holidays there. So I was very, very privileged. And even after moving to the States 48 years ago, I was fortunate to be able to visit her in Calcutta very, very often, comparatively. I mean, not that often, maybe every 3 or 4 years. But, and anyway, the last 15 years was when we got to, you know, live in the same city. And soon after she moved, we instituted weekly get-togethers where we would play a game of Scrabble and have lunch together. And she was so appreciative of every little thing I did. She really enjoyed those Scrabble games. It was a joy to play with her. And it was amazing that 8 days before she passed away, we played Scrabble together. She took such joy in winning. And basically, you know, it was amazing. She often made 7-letter words and often won the game. If I tried to help her win, she would not like it at all. She wouldn't even like me to help it make her any words. And she often won on her due course. Once my dentist told me, "You play with your aunt, you should let her win sometimes." I said, "What do you mean let her win? She wins on her own accord." Anyhow, my children too, Samir and Zain, were fortunate to have had a lot of interaction with her when they visited here, or when they visited a couple of times Calcutta as well. But when she moved here in the fall of 2006, I should go back to 2002, when Shiri came into our lives, our beautiful, lovely daughter-in-law from Delhi. And they attended the wedding, Kalama and Salim Mamu, as well as many other relatives in India. And in 2006, when Kalama moved here, Shiri and Samir were living here, so they got a chance to interact often, and they all became even close to her, not a blood connection, but a very, very deep connection. And Kalama always had loved Hindi film songs, and Shiri, with her beautiful voice, would sing for her whenever she asked. So I would like to now introduce Shiri, who will sing one of her favorite songs in her memory.
And just thank you, Farida. But just before Shireen starts, I'm going to just mute everybody, and then Shiri, could you please unmute yourself? I'm just going to mute everybody again. All right.
Thank you, Mama. And it is so nice to be here with all of you to celebrate a very special life. My parents from Delhi also send their regards and love to the family and all the friends. It's a very touching moment. You know, it's a very special moment, remembering a wonderful person like Sheri Nani. After consulting with Mehmood, Mamu, Juni Khala, and Pinky Khala, we decided to choose this song that Sheri Nani and Salim Nana both liked very much. And I didn't have the opportunity to sing for Salim Nana, but I know he had a beautiful voice himself. But Sherry Nani always used to ask me, even in London, whenever we met, she would always say, please sing for me. And I know she loved Hindi movie songs. So I hope that this song that I'll be singing in her memory will reach her somehow, you know, up there, and that she'll enjoy it as well. This song is from the movie Taj Mahal, and it's written by Sahir Ludhianvi. जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा, रोके जमाना चाहे रोके खुदाई, तुमको आना पड़ेगा। जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा, निभाना पड़ेगा। तरसती निगाहों ने आवाज दी है, मोहब्बत की राहों ने आवाज दी है। जाने हया जाने अदा, छोड़ो तरसाना, तुमको आना पड़ेगा। जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा, निभाना पड़ेगा। ये माना हमें जहाँ से जाना पड़ेगा, पर ये समझ लो तुमने जब भी पुकारा हमको आना पड़ेगा। जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा, निभाना पड़ेगा। हम अपनी वफा पे ना इल्जाम लेंगे, तुम्हें दिल दिया है तुम्हें जान भी देंगे। जब इश्क का सौदा किया फिर क्या घबराना, तुमको आना पड़ेगा। जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा, निभाना पड़ेगा। चमकते हैं जब तक ये चांद और तारे, न टूटेंगे अब अहदो पैमा हमारे। एक दूसरा देखे सदा हो के दीवाना, हमको आना पड़ेगा। जो वादा किया वो निभाना पड़ेगा, निभाना पड़ेगा। Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shireen, for that beautiful rendition. I know Mummy will just have loved it. So thank you very, very much. And thank you so much for all the love you gave her whenever you met her. I'd like to say thank you to everyone for joining us to celebrate the life of our mother. Thank you also for the love, friendship, warmth, and affection you gave her in abundance throughout her life. Many of you know how much my mother loved flowers, particularly flowers that had fragrance. She never understood how beautiful roses could not be fragrant. So the day after she passed away, I thought I must go and get some flowers. But I did not need to. Every single day since the 2nd of June, we have been receiving flowers, and most of them with incredible fragrance. She was a flame that glowed so brightly, and even though she is no more, we know her legacy will be the qualities that defined her: graciousness, generosity, warmth, elegance, and selflessness. Thank you, Mummy, for being the best and most inspiring person in my life. We will miss you forever. I would like now to invite a few people who will say a few words, and then after that, as Mahmood said, it will be open to others to talk. So we'd like to invite Rishad Lilani, who is her grandson, Amin Nathani, who is her brother-in-law, Asif Hassan, who is her nephew, and Afroz Randarian, a very close friend of our families from Calcutta, who is like a daughter, mummy. Over to you, Rishad.
Thank you, I think just to re-echo what's been said a lot here is, it's so lovely to see so many people here remembering the life of Nani. Really what I wanted to do today was just take a few minutes to talk about my recollections of Nani over the years, and some of the things that I've personally learned from her, and I hope that will stay with me throughout my life. So as kids, we would basically make these Easter trips to India. And when we were younger, Imi and I, we'd always be so excited to see our Nani and Nana. But we dread some of the things that surrounded these trips, such as vaccinations, malaria tablets, the long haul flights. But we would arrive, and following the chaos of the trip, the airport, the multiple passport stampings, we would see Nani and Nana. And suddenly we would be enveloped by this tremendous feeling of warmth and love. And these trips were so much fun. So I remember people always saying to me that it's a lot more fun to be a grandparent than it is to be a parent, because you get to spoil the kids, you get to buy their favorite things, cook their favorite food, and hopefully you get to leave all of the discipline and the hard stuff to the parents. And Nani certainly did spoil us. So she took us to Paragon to buy toys. She took us to Flurries to buy desserts, to the Calcutta Club to go swimming. She used to buy us thumbs up for a treat. And whenever we were hungry for anything, she would ask Khurshid and before that Hassan to make us food, from puris to tomato gravy cutlets, whatever it was that we were craving. And it was such a special time in our lives. But it was much more than this. So there was always this lovely feeling of security that we had, in that we had these grandparents that would love us unconditionally, just as they had their own children. And although Nani and Nana we were only a small part of their lives from a time perspective, a relatively short part of their lives at the end, they were such a large part to us. And we benefited from so many different things. So one was the era. And it was funny, Nani used to say to me that we had such a different relationship with her as a grandmother than she did, and many others did with generations before. It was very different. There was a certain line, a certain distance that you couldn't cross. There was a distance that basically had to be maintained in terms of respect and so on. And while we certainly always had a firm sense of respect, and maintain that with Nani and Nana, there was always a different kind of playfulness that we had with her. So we could sit down, we could shoot the breeze, we could joke, and it was just such a pleasure to be around Nani. She was just so at ease talking to people, and I remember even during our wedding, for example, she was just sitting down in the lobby, and I think many of you remember this. She was sitting down there, and she was just so in her element. She was enjoying the people around her. People would come and sit with her, and they just loved to be with her. They loved to spend time with her and just spend time with Nani. And that's really who she was. So we also benefited from a lot of the wisdom and the years of experience that shaped who Nani was. So I remember when Nana passed away, we spoke to her on the phone, and it must have been so difficult for her after so many years of marriage. But even with this, she had this sense of calmness about her. And this calmness was something that we had observed over many, many years. So before and after Nana had passed away, she was always patient, she was composed, and she was practical. She would just get on with things. And these are the qualities that many of us value, we aspire to embody. And while seemingly these were just part of her character, We often forget that these qualities require a conscious decision to practice and to embed in daily lives. And even over the last few years, every time I've spoken to her, even before relatively short period before she passed away, she rarely complained, even though others in her position may. So I hope to try and remember these qualities and practice them in my own life, as well as communicate to my children the character of those that have come before them and what they brought to people's lives, just like our Nani did. And it was funny, a few days ago, my daughter Ariana had asked me, Papa, when is everyone going to stop sending flowers? But I suppose that's what happens when you touch people's lives like Nani had. So yeah, thank you, and I will pass on to the next speaker.
Amin Chacha, can...
Go ahead. Our dear Sherbanoo Didi's passing away has created a void in all our lives. She bore a close resemblance to my mother, who was her paternal aunt. Both of them possessed a cool temperament and were known for helping people. Their disposition led many to seek their advice on delicate personal matters. Sherbanoo Didi and my brother Salimba were responsible for my marriage to Nirmin, and they took a lot of trouble in arranging the functions in Calcutta. The closeness between Nirmin's family and Sherbanoo Didi was so much that all the wedding shopping on Nirmin's side was done by Sherbanoo Didi. Whenever she came to Bombay, she stayed with us. And I was amazed as to how she was ready right on the dot anytime between 8:30 and 9 a.m. She was very particular about having a quick bath and dressing before having breakfast. A truly sincere and genuine person. She was simple yet elegant. She was a doting wife and mother, balancing those roles with being one of Calcutta's best hosts. Salimba and she had an open house, hosting many events and parties at Roland Road and Chowrangi with their impeccable food and irrepressible warmth. Sherry will be missed by many whom she befriended. It reminds me of the Chinese proverb that a good friend is a gift you give yourself. Sherry was our dearest friend. We will all miss her, and we pray that her noble soul rests in peace. How did you?
Thank you, Amin Chacha. And now could I request Asif to say a few words?
Thank you. I hope everyone can hear me. Just
Yes.
give me a thumbs up, Mahmood.
Yep.
That's okay. So thank you, Mahmood, Junie, Pinky, and all your children and nephews, Junie, for this wonderful idea of hosting a worldwide Zoom call with all of Kalama's friends, family, and loved ones who were truly privileged and blessed to have shared Kalama's life in one way or the other and intersected paths with her. I think you'll agree that we are all richer and blessed to have done that. You know, a befitting epitaph for Kalama, in my view, would be from Calcutta to Bethesda. Here was a lady, small in figure, but having the sparkle of a Kohinoor diamond. The resilience of the strongest amongst us, and the warmth grace, elegance, and laughter that will forever be embedded and etched in our memories. She had style, she had warmth, and she made you feel very special. Her fondness for all sorts of good food was well known. She was lucky to have one of the best cooks in Calcutta, if not the world, cooking these lovely dishes. And I remember way back in visiting Calcutta in my holidays, spending a lot of time. I remember Roland Road House, the big tree that my cousins, Junie, Pinky, Mahmood was a little younger, would be reading Enid Blyton books. And Kalama was always warm, charming, and she loved going around looking at her flowers and the beautiful gardens of Roland Road with the Mali, and took a lot of pride in those flowers. Someone even said she won a flower show in Calcutta, some kind of award. Some other memories in Calcutta days, which was a long time ago, were she loved the 3 F's: furpose, let's see, what were the other ones? Furpose, flowers, and flurries. Sorry. And then there was a large gap between those years of visiting Calcutta and spending my holidays with her, with Salim Mamu, with Mamu Jan and Mami Jan, Rafiq's parents. And Mamu Jan was Kalama's brother. So I'm going to fast forward, very high speed fast forward of my tape recorder to plus 30 years. And these were the more recent years in Bethesda. Her fondness of food continued throughout her life. I mean, even and when she lived in Bethesda with Mahmood and spent a lot of time with Junie, Rashna and I would take her to this Burmese restaurant called Myanmar, and she loved the consommé there. She was very fond of consommé, I guess. I remember her knitting wool scarves for the entire family and a lot of friends. She was very good at knitting, I think crochet work and so forth. I remember those were some really fond memories of receiving the scarf. I still wear it every winter and love it. And then more recently, she loved, she really appreciated, like many have said, everything you did for her. And she mentioned it. She mentioned it and made you feel very special. By the way, Amy, your montage of her and the songs, this blew me away. I remember recent family gatherings, dinners at Nazir Mamu, Farid and Farida's, Somji's, Eid at Farida Somji's and the Somji's house, earlier Thanksgiving meals at our house, and so forth. And more recently, sharing sandwiches with Rashna made for her, and she called her the sandwich queen, actually. So thank you. Thank you for letting me say a few words about my beloved and lovely Kalama. Thank you.
Thanks, Asif. And now, Afroz, if you would please say a few words.
Thank you, Mahmood. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you, Mahmood, Pinky, Junie. Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and good evening. Today we meet to celebrate and pay a tribute to Auntie Sherry, as she was fondly known. The kindest, gentle soul I have ever met. She was a dear friend of my mother's, but when she became my friend, I really don't know. But that was Auntie Sherry. She befriended easily. She was comfortable in any age group, whether it was her parents' friends, her children's friends, her grandchildren's friends, or anyone who came into her path. Auntie Sherry was kind and generous to a fault. When it came to giving, she would put a king to shame because she would give of herself. Her kindness. She would give her kindness, her thoughtfulness, her caring, her unconditional love, her support, her hospitality, and everything else she was capable of giving, she gave. She was always remembered what you'd like to eat, and she made sure that was on the table when you visited her. She was always elegantly and graciously turned out and was grateful for even the smallest and the largest things that she had. I had the good fortune of taking care of her before she left for the US. And even after that, she came to visit me in Calcutta and stayed for a month. And I always grumbled and said, Auntie, that was really not enough. Her friends would come and visit her every day. And it was like a huge party we had celebrating her arrival to Calcutta and hoping she would stay on. Auntie Sherry, you will be dearly missed by all of us. May Allah bless you and grant you the highest station in Jannatul Firdaus with all the Sabikums. Till we meet again, Auntie Sherry, love you loads. Thank you.
Thank you, Afroz, for those beautiful words. You know, we've come to sort of the end of the planned portion of the program, but we'd really love to hear from anybody who'd like to speak. We know so many of you are here, and so we would just ask that I'm going to mute everybody, and then we'll just look at the raise your hand function or the chat, and several of us will be monitoring it. And please feel free to say a few words, and we'll come to everybody. And when it's your turn, please sort of unmute yourself. So I'm going to start off by muting everybody.
Raise your hand.
I'm going to mute everybody, and then I'll just unmute gradually. And I'm not sure there'll be a formal close, but we, you know, I know people may have to leave from time to time, but please stay on, and we'd love to hear from other people as well. So here goes. I'm going to mute and then start unmuting. I'm muting everybody right now, and then I'll just ask someone, and then please unmute yourself. All right. So can we start with the merchants? I see Arshad and Zulfa, and I'm going to start with them. So please go ahead. And please try and keep your comments to about 2-3 minutes if you can, just because I think there are lots of people who want to speak here. So thanks.
Sure. So we're actually joined by all the three merchant brothers. We're all on vacation together in Lake in Maryland. We've all been watching great nieces and nephews, and we're remembering both Mummy, who would have many wonderful things to say about Sherry Nani. So I'm Zulfa. Arshad is Mananani's grandson. I'm his wife, and and you know, the last few years we live in Bethesda, about 7-8 minutes away from Menwith Mamu and 10 minutes away from Junikala. And you know, the last few years, once my youngest was in preschool properly, Mummy had Dilshad, Mummy had always asked me, if you get some time, visit with Sherry Nani. And so the last few years after Mummy passed away, I was able to, and it was such a joy, this disposition of cheerfulness that you all have referred to. It's a real gift. Not everyone can have that. She always made you feel very special, or like you put a lot of effort or something, and it would be delightful to spend time with her. She was a warm listener, and we shared a few interests, but I loved hearing her stories. And she was generous to a fault, not no fault, actually. She would speak, and I would be amazed at these 80-year-old friends that she's had for so many years, and how much she'd be delighted you'd send her saris or call, and it meant so much to her. We absolutely adored having her nearby. We were delighted to have her at Arshad's 50th birthday in August last year. It was the first party she'd attended We had it outdoors.
During COVID.
Yeah, during COVID. So, and she'd come for Thanksgiving to our home.
She always loved to party, and we enjoyed hosting her so much.
Yeah, but we all love her very much, and we
You
know
wanna say a few
if Mummy was here, she would have so much to say.
Okay, my brother Faisal and Akbar are here also.
Hi everyone, it's great to see everyone. This is Faisal. This is Mena Nani's third grandson. Just wishing you all. It was lovely to be able to view this Zoom together with our family, all three brothers together, and with our children and stuff. So thank you to all the hosts for putting it together. Rifat and I, and send obviously our deepest condolences to Junie Kala, Pinky Kala, Mahmood Mamu, your families, your children, your grandchildren as well. Today we're obviously thinking today would have been our mom's 76th birthday, and I know how close she was to her Kala. But my earliest memories are is when I went to Calcutta for the only time I've been there, and meeting her there, and obviously remembering all the wonderful food, and having her take us to Calcutta Club, and everything. So such great, wonderful memories, and it's so nice to share this with you. And Imran, the montage, brought me to tears, and like my Kala, I'm not too prone to crying, but it hit a very, very special place in our hearts. So thank you so much for hosting this.
Thanks, Faisal and Zulfa and all the merchants. I'm going to call on Bindu, a very old friend and a class friend of Junie's, whose mom, Indu auntie, was a very good friend of mom in Calcutta. So Bindu, can I ask you to unmute and say a few words?
Yes, Mahmood. Can you hear me, Mahmood?
I can hear you now.
Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Mahmood, Junie, Pinky. I think I've known them for as long as I've known myself. And Auntie Sherbanoo was more than a mother to me for the longest time. Roland Road, Chorangi, then Washington, DC, Joyshil and I would always make that, we wanted to see her so much on every visit, and somehow, thankfully, we managed to. And I think the last time we met was just before the pandemic, and she was her usual lovely, happy, warm self, and so many lovely memories of Calcutta. Eid, samosas, biryani. I mean, I could go on, but I won't. I can't, because I know I just have 2 minutes. But I really loved her, and I will miss her. I will miss her a lot. And I'm just so blessed to have all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Bindu, so much. I'm going to ask our old family friend and from Calcutta, whose name is Bashir Sharif, but we call him Aki Uncle, and he's my uncle Amin's wife, Nirman's brother in Calcutta. So Aki Uncle, would you please say a few words? Oh, maybe we've... Aki Uncle, can you unmute yourself and say a few words? All right, we'll come back to Aki Uncle. I'm going to ask Aisha Lilani and Pinky's married into the Lilani family, who are like a second family to us. And so mom was very close to all the Lilanis, and Aisha has a hand raised, so I'd like Aisha to say a few words, or maybe her grandmother will say a few words.
Thank you for a lovely ceremony. It was really nice to see all of your faces. Mama wanted to say a couple words.
It's actually Bhabhi Jan, as everybody knows me. But your mum refused to call me that. I said, look, Sultana's mother calls me Bhabhi Jan. Everybody said, no, for me, you are Sultana. And it was so nice having somebody older who I could always talk to, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. We all know the meaning of that. And she was a lovely person. I mean, all of you have said enough about her, but I have come across a few lines here by Rabindranath Tagore from Gitanjali. And that's, death, thy servant is at my door. He has crossed the unknown sea and brought thy call to my home. The night is dark and my heart is fearful, yet I will take up the lamp, open my gates, and bow to him, my welcome. It is thy messenger who stands at my door. That is, Allah's messenger is always at our door. We have to remember that. I will worship him with folded hands and with tears. I will worship him, placing at his feet the treasure of my heart. He will go back with his errand done, leaving a dark shadow on my morning and in my desolate home. Only my forlorn self will remain in my last offering to thee. That's how it is with us, all of us. We know death is there, sure to come. And Allah bless her soul. All I can do is I will miss a dear friend who I could chat every week, maybe twice a week sometimes. And now I don't know who to call. But Allah Hafiz, may God grant her where she belongs. And a very good friend of mine, an English friend, who only met her twice, she said, oh, she doesn't have to go through anything. She's gone straight to heaven. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Allah Hafiz, all of you. Allah Hafiz. Love to everybody. Allah Hafiz, Mahmood.
Thank you so much, Bhabhi Jan. I'm going to ask Mihan, Nazir Mamu's daughter, Mihan, who was also very fond of Mom, and she has 3 children and Rohan in the background. So Mihan, passing it on to you.
The kids wanted me to point out that we are sitting on Sherry Fuima, her cane chairs. Many of you that came to visit her may remember them, and they're a beautiful part of the home that we love sitting on. I wanted to just do my 2 impressions of Sherry Fuima that I used to do when I was Ranya's age. I would come back from India and Mom and Dad would love to hear me do my impressions of her. When we would sit in the sunroom and she would say, Are Kurshi, chai banao. And that was one of my favorite times of the day. And then when she would leave to go somewhere, she would say, Acha main ja rahi hu. And she had such a sing-song voice and I loved it. And I have been very emotional lately, missing her and missing Salim Fua. Just my time with them was very precious to my childhood. I just wanted to keep this short. And Sahil wanted to just say something short.
She will never ever actually be gone because a little bit of her genes are in everyone in her family. So she will never actually ever be gone.
She's with us.
Yeah, that's a statement.
Okay, I'll mute it. Thank you.
That's very beautiful. Thank you, Sahil, too. And your impersonation of Mom calling Khurshid was perfect. I tried to get Aki Uncle earlier, but I think he might be able to speak now. So I know Maheen is there. So if you can unmute yourself and say a few words, that would be great.
Mahmood Bhai, I would like to share a thought of mine. Our Eids have never been the same ever since Sherbanoo auntie left Calcutta. And I would like to tell you, your mom, the gifts she gave us on the Eid days, our Eids were made. She gave us lovely gifts on Eid day. And Eid was integral part of our Eid celebration was a visit to your place. And of course, I'll never forget your uncle too, and my father would like to speak.
Sure. Go ahead, Aki Uncle.
Yeah. First of all, my congratulations and good wishes to Mahmood, Pinky, Juni for organizing this program successfully. All my good wishes to them. And Mahmood especially, I admire you, Mahmood. I just say a few words which I've jotted down, that she was loyal, kind, dependable, very friendly, good-natured, and hospitable. I remember my mother taking advice from her. She was judicious and wise. She kept away from controversies and uh, other amenity arrangements. That's all I want to say. And all my good wishes to you. And I remember very well. Feel very bad.
And one more thing, Mahmood Bhai, I would like to add. My late mother considered her, found a great philosopher and support in her. For every little thing, like she used to approach Sherbanoo auntie for help and advice. So she played an integral role, a very important role in my mother's life. My mother used to look up to her as a role model. That's it. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. May you
Thank
have
you.
a nice day.
Thank you so much, Maheen. Thank you, Aki Uncle, for those lovely words. I'm going to ask my cousin Rafiq, who got up early this morning with all the other folks on the West Coast, to say a few words. And then we'll get to Kusum and Shanaz and Iqbal and Zain, and then we'll see. So Rafiq, you're on.
Thank you, Mahmood. First of all, on behalf of my mother, Karanisa, my wife, my sisters, Razia and Nargis, and all our families, our remembrances to all of you and our prayers to Allah for Faima's soul. I thought I'd just quickly read out the tribute I wrote to Faima for her 90th year, when Junie and family had put together that wonderful book for her, which captures, I think, some of the sentiments that we've all expressed in this very moving tribute. So here goes. I wrote, "Dearest Faima, happy 90th, adding good wishes from my mother as well and prayers for your happiness, health and long life. When I meet you, you remind me of what I might call in Urdu, kaifiyat-e-kafi, or the quality of enough. I feel that you are someone who has recognized that whatever Allah has given you, that is enough for you, and that your task is to make it something of high quality. To feel and behave that way is indeed Allah's gift to you and your family." Around 15 years ago, this was written 2 years ago, I visited Calcutta for about a week to work on a project. My parents had left Calcutta for Bombay by then, and I stayed with you at good old 60B Chaurangi Road. My work in Calcutta never extended beyond regular office hours, so during the evening hours, we chatted every evening over tea, rummy, and meals. You invited extended family members for dinners and arranged Jamaat Khana and shopping excursions. We talked a lot about my Dada and Dadi, your parents, my father's personality in his younger days, and life in the Calcutta of your childhood and adulthood. As you talked, what shone through was a feeling of contentment. I realized that you drew meaning and value from each of life's experiences, arising from the sense of kaifiyat-e-kafi. Thank you, Faima, for this and for always being a kind and generous person in my life and the lives of those around you. Thank you.
Thanks, Rafiq. Can I call on Iqbal Dasani to say a few words? And then after that, Shanaz, please.
Salams, everybody. This is Iqbal Dasani from Montreal. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. We are really fortunate to be able to participate in the tribute to Sherry. I'm joined by my daughter Sharmeen and her husband Kumail Ganji, who are in our chalet in the mountain. My son Ibrahim Dasani and his wife is also joining from their own condo. And I'm lucky to be joined here with my youngest daughter Samira, with her husband Samir Siddi, and my only grandson now Xavier. So it's a real honor to be able to participate. I know my mother was very fond of Sherbanoo, you know. As most of you know, she was suffering from asthma at that time, and she suffered for quite some time. But she would look really look forward to the visit of Sherry, you know. She would really look forward. And whenever Sherbanoo would come and spend a few hours with her, by the time she would leave the house after chatting with my mother, I knew my mother was so relaxed, feeling so much better, and she would feel so radiant, and we felt that it was a different person. So she had that magic, you know, of bringing so much happiness to so many people around. So we are very grateful to have known her. I knew her only very briefly. I wish I had been able to have more time, but we are fortunate whatever little time Allah gives us to share with each other. We pray that her soul may rest in eternal peace. Amen.
Thank you very much, Iqbal. Thank you so much. Shahnaz, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, please. I just wanted to say how privileged I feel to
Sorry,
know
Shahnaz,
Sherry.
can I just request everybody to, Shahnaz, I'm going to put everybody on mute, and can you unmute yourself after that, so that, just one second, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, please go ahead, Shahnaz. No, now you're on mute, Shahnaz. Hello, Shahnaz, you're on mute. Yeah, now it's good.
I just wanted to say how privileged I feel to have known Sherry Auntie. I've known Pinky for the last 17, 18 years, actually. And one day she just said, "Oh, my mother's coming from Washington. I think you better come and play Scrabble with her." So that's how our friendship started. And I'm a Parsi. And so Sherry Auntie we had great conversations about all the Parsis she knew in Calcutta and what fun they were, and the food, of course, which she loved, and also the saris. I collect old saris, and we had great conversations about that. So, you know, as someone said earlier, that Auntie was, you know, so wonderful at speaking to people of any age, and it never felt that you were speaking to someone who was older than you. It was very contemporary. We had a great time, and of course she always won at Scrabble, so that was annoying because I'm very competitive. But she also knitted 3 scarves for my Farouk, and he wears them every winter. And we think of her very fondly. And I just wanted to say how wonderful it was that she did come into our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Shahnaz, for those beautiful words. I'm going to ask Kusum, and then Zain, and then my cousin Minnie to speak. So, Kusum, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me, Mahmood?
Yes, we can.
I want to speak as, you know, we're not, I'm speaking on behalf of Uday and myself. We weren't part of the immediate family, but Auntie Sherry had that quality of making us feel as part of the larger family. Bless her soul. Her joie de vivre was very infectious. Of course, her chicken sandwiches and saif puri were renowned. Auntie Sherry belonged to that special breed of women who crossed oceans and continents and came to be with her children because family to her was so important. And that's a lesson we will always cherish. She had that rod of steel and this petite, fragile image of herself, but she was a joy to be with. She may be simple, she was elegant, but her gems were Junie, Mahmood, and Pinky, and all the family. And Farida tells me that Auntie Sherry is buried close to Auntie Mena and my mother. And it makes me very happy because I think they're playing rummy very happily and smiling down on us. R.I.P. Auntie Sherry, bless you. Thank you, Mahmood.
Thanks so much, Kusum, for those lovely words. I'm going to ask Farida Appas and Farid Mahmood's son Zain to say a few words.
Yeah, I'm Zain, as my mom said, Farid and Farida's son, and Mena Nani's grandson. I was just wanted to keep it short and sort of following up with Mihan's memories and impressions. I don't have an impression, but I think one thing that nobody has mentioned yet that is a very strong memory for me is Sherry Nani's laugh, because it was so ever present. And yeah, it's a very distinct auditory memory of her. And she was full of such joy, and it came out in her laugh, which you would hear at any party at some point or another. And so when I think of her, I hear her laughing, and I hope that she's laughing somewhere now.
Thanks, Zen. Yes, no, she had a lovely laugh. She just, yeah, thank you. I'm going to ask my cousin Minnie to say a few words. I don't know whether Froze or Ziba are with Minnie, but Minnie, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, Mahmood Bhai. I really feel so sad. I'm not going to cry though, even though she had two girls and a boy. I loved she and सलीमा मेरा दिल बहुत दुखता है वो चले गए मेरा बाप भी चले गए हमारा नेफ्यू चले गए लेकिन आप मेरे दिल में है. If you want to cry, I'm here for you, Mahmood and Pinky and Junie. Come to us. I love you. And just remember, I'm always here for you. You're always in my heart.
Thank you very much, Minnie. That's very, very sweet of you. Thank you. And we'll just ask, I know that Arshia wanted to speak, and then I'm not quite sure, and after that Shahnaz, and then I don't know who BD is, but the full name, but please after. So let's start with Arshia, and then Shahnaz, and then BD.
So being the youngest Hussain Nathani grandchild, I had the fortunate pleasure of spending a lot of time with Salim Chacha and Sherry Auntie, and wonderful memories of our trips to Calcutta. But I'd just like to say that, you know, there are a couple of things I really appreciate about Sherry Auntie. We were on a school trip on our way to Darjeeling, and we were 30 girls, and she welcomed us into her home, and we had a bath, and they fed us a good dinner before we got onto the train to go back to Bombay. And also the fact that, you know, to appreciate all the good things in life, to dress up, to put a good table, to enjoy flowers. So thank you, Sherry Auntie, for the beautiful legacy and love that you've shared with all of us. And I feel so blessed and thankful that today in my house, I have a table cover embroidered by you, and I'm wearing a sari, which you and Meena Auntie had painstakingly hand-stitched for me. So thank you for all the wonderful memories and for the beautiful legacy that you've left behind for all of us.
Thanks, Arshia. I know she and you connected a lot in recent years, and you gave her a beautiful sari that she loved, dear. So can I ask Shahnaz Ramji to say a few words? Shahnaz, are you there? We can't hear you. Oh, okay. I'm not quite sure who BD is, but
That's me. It's Bapsi from Dubai.
Please go ahead.
Thank you. I guess I have to say a very special thank you to Pinky and the family for having given me the privilege of having met Sherry Auntie. It's just been wonderful, the times that we had together. I'll always remember her very positive spirit and her beautiful knitting. I think that is a treasure that she has left for many of us. I fondly remember the time playing Scrabble and having dhansak over Pinky's table. And it's been lovely to have met somebody with her spirit.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't know whether Ziba had one point said she wanted to say something. Ziba, are you still there, or?
Hi, Mahmood.
Hi, Ziba.
I just wanted to say it was a beautiful tribute. One of the things I always remember about Sherry Mommy is how, like everybody said, how special she made you feel. I remember a day I came over sometime during COVID, just stopped by to your house. And you wouldn't let her out, of course, it was winter. And she came to the other side of the front door and she said, you know, this morning I got dressed up. Somebody had given me this new sari and I just thought something special was going to happen. And here you are. And that's the way she was. She always made you feel good. And I always enjoyed her so much and we're going to miss her a lot. And it's interesting to me how absolutely consistent what everybody has said is how special she was and what Rafiq said about being content. And that was a gift that she had. And it really makes me think about how I want to live my life in the future to be like that. So thank you for letting me participate. And thank you guys so much for organizing this beautiful remembrance time.
Thanks, Ziba. No, I think I had never thought about that till Rafiq at one point mentioned it, that she was, and then several people have said that she was a very happy person. And so from that stemmed everything else, because if you're happy inside, then, you know, things work out and you have a way of dealing with things. Yeah. Well, you know, I think we've come to the end of all the people who've at least put their hands up. If anybody would, before we wrap up, if anybody would like to say a few words, please say so. Otherwise, you know, I'll ask. So I'm just going to give a second if anybody wants to say anything.
I just want to mention that Ariana and Isabel are asleep, but Rashad and Karen, you know how dear they were to Mom, and she loved the times when she could look at their pictures and hear them on the video very often. So Karen and Rashad, thank you for always calling and having Mom's, having Ariana and Isabel be so much a part of her life.
Pinky, did you want to say anything? No, Pinky's on mute.
Mahmood, can I say something?
Yeah, Sumit wants to say something. So then we'll go to Sumit and then Pinky.
So I just, you know, of course.
So sorry, before you say anything, just a quick word. Sumit is a very dear friend of mine whom I've known since the Calcutta days, since we were 15. And he got to know Mom very well over the years. So that's the introduction.
So thanks, Mahmood. All I just want to know that I have always felt that Mahmood's not only a dear friend, that I've always felt a part of that family. I know growing up in Calcutta, every single day, nearly every single day, either I was eating at Mahmood's house or Mahmood was eating at my house. And just getting to know Salim uncle and Sherry auntie, and of course, nobody can forget Hassan's samosas. And so I just wanted to say that, and even in DC, you know, for all of us just seeing her all the time and to such a wonderful age, and where she was always, where she was always present and always welcoming, is just was a wonderful feeling. I felt more like a son than a friend's, than a son's friend. So thank you for that.
Thanks, Sumit. I know that Ziba has mentioned the Sakufu, he wants to say something. So my dad's sister, who lives in Washington, D.C., Sakin, wants to say a few words. Yes.
Okay. Hello. Thank you for having this wonderful celebration of Shadi's life. She was one of a kind. She was always noble and gracious. And she raised 3 wonderful children. And I'm not keeping in touch with her too much, but I have my own problems with Winnie and my ill health. She was always kind to my parents and gave them much joy. She never stopped my brother from helping his family. She was truly one of a kind, and we will miss her. May God give her the best place in Jannat Firdaus. Ameen, Ameen.
Thank you, Sakufuri, for that. Gee. Pinky, did you want to say something? And then I'll say a few words.
No, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for the amazing tributes and for showing all the love that you did to our mother throughout her life, but bringing it today again. So thank you very, very much.
I did want to ask Farid Mamu, who is both my mom and dad's first cousin and Farida Appa's husband, very, very close family member, to say a few words. I know Farid Mamu wants to say something. So Farid Mamu.
Thank you, Mahmood. You can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, thanks to Mahmood, Junie, and Pinky and their children for putting together this fabulous tribute. Thank you very much. I just wanted to say that, obviously, what everyone has said, I fully endorse. I just wanted to say I had one special connection with Sherbanoo Bai, Khala, because she's been all that through my life. Many people do not know that she and Salimha were our guardians, so to say, in the early days of their marriage. I was only 8 years old or 9 years old, and my appa, Farida, who's here, Farida Somji, she must have been 11 or 12. And we shared the same roof with them. And Sherbanoo Bai and Salimha, really kept a lookout for us, for which, and in many, many respects, many things that I learned at that age is thanks to them. So I want to say I had a special bond. Of course, she's my sister as well. And then when I married Farida, she's my Khala. And in the last so many years, of course, we were together every Tuesday. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thanks, Farid Mamu. I just wanted to mention that it's just been so amazing to see people from our childhood today on the call, from people like Paki uncle and Porus uncle, who from the Calcutta Jardine days when they were young men working, and they used to come over to our house a lot, from Nusrat, who joined us from Karachi, Nimi auntie, Kuku auntie, Bimla auntie, Aki uncle, just a huge number of memories, Ritu, Bindu, and all the friends from Calcutta. And then the later Calcutta friends, but still such good Calcutta friends. And then Farzana auntie, Afroz, Amita auntie, Saroj auntie. It's just been terrific. And then through them, their children. And then there was sort of all the family from Bombay. And I must mention Farad uncle, who's joined us. And I'm sure I've forgotten a lot of people. And then there've been so many good family and friends from London who've been just sent us such lovely greetings and wishes and memories of mom. And there's so many that it's been great to hear all of that. And so I think we've really appreciated having all of you here. We've been so thankful for your love. And I think it's made such a difference in allowing us to cope with this and get through this difficult time. And there've been lots of tears, but we smile a lot as well, because mom lived a very good and healthy life for most of her life. And really, we're privileged to have had her as our mom, and not to forget, she's now reunited with Papa. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I'm going to just say that we close the program, but the Zoom session will be on if anybody wants to stay on to just chat. But thank you so very much from all of us for being here today and being a part of something special for us. Thank you.
Can I say a few words?
Please, Fatima, go ahead. Absolutely.
Yes, it's
we're
been
here
such
for
a
a while.
privilege. It's an honor and a privilege to have been included in the Zoom meeting. And Pinky, Mahmood, Junie, you have given a wonderful tribute. This was a wonderful idea. And I can only echo what everybody has said, because whatever everybody said is from my heart as well. It's like I've said it all. And she was very dear to me, and I was very, very fond of her. Later on in life, we became very close. She and Salim uncle and me and my husband, Ali Reza, we were all very good friends. And we would go over to their place. She would call me up. She would say, Fatma, what are you doing? I said, nothing. Come on, come and have lunch with us. And Salim uncle loved my cutlets. So I would make cutlets and take it along with me. And then we would have a wonderful lunch with us, spend beautiful moments, and come back home feeling very happy. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Fatima. I know Mom and Dad really enjoyed the time you spent together. They loved having you come over and chatting with you and Ali Raza as well. And I just wanted to also acknowledge my uncle Dalu's, Gulshan Auntie, Dalu's wife, Gulshan Auntie and Uzair and Ramona, who've joined us from Dallas. Mom was very fond of Gulshan Auntie and they spent a lot of time together. And then I forgot to, I'd like to also just say a quick hello to, and thanks to my friend Shubir from Calcutta, who used to go over to Mom and Dad's house even when we were here and just chat with them for long periods of time. So much so that that became something he did, you know, even when we were not there, and totally independent of me, which was really, really nice. So,
say something.
Yes,
Mehmood,
please.
This is Shubir.
Please, Shubir, go ahead.
May I say a word? Since you mentioned
Kiku Auntie will just, Shubir, could you hold 1 second and we'll have Kiku Auntie say a few words and then after that, Shubir. Go ahead, Kiku Auntie.
What I want to say, I got to know only 20 years ago, but it was the best 20 years of friendship that we both enjoyed, both in Bombay and in the US. I'm really going to miss her. Goodbye, friend. May your soul rest in peace.
Thank you, Kiku Auntie, and you know, just hoping for the best for Gulu uncle and that he's in peace. Shubir, go ahead, please.
Yes, Mahmood. I'll never forget the experience that I remember after you all left. And every time, every 7 days, either
Shubir, could you please speak a little closer in, a little louder, if you wouldn't mind?
Yeah, is it okay now?
Yeah, better.
Can you? Is it better?
A little better.
So I would frequently visit the house and stay over for dinner before coming home. And every 7 to 10 days, either uncle or auntie would call me up and say, "Arey kya hua? Tum to nahi aaya, bahut din ho gaya." Hardly 7 or 10 days had gone by. So this went on for many, many years till she left for America. And even when she would come down, I would get this phone call and auntie would say, come over for breakfast tomorrow. So I would say, oh, you're here in Calcutta? Good, I'll be there. So that's the way it was. And it was always enjoyable to be with her. Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, Shubir. Thanks for joining. Yeah.
Shabir, it's nice to see you. If I could just acknowledge someone who I know is probably busy racing, my brother-in-law Mehboob, but he's here today. And Mehboob was very, very special to Mom and to all of us. And in the mornings when she would be having breakfast, he would come down and tease her. And he even looked after her for a few days when Pinky was out of town. So Mehboob, is Mehboob there? Hi, Mehboob. Thank you for always being so loving to Mom, for treating her as your own mom. And I always know that the days that she spent with y'all in London were among the happiest she had, and much of that was because of you.
You know something I can never, ever forget? Somebody that came in my life. She was my mother-in-law, but she was much more like a mother to me. And she was a wonderful person, a person who everybody related to. The whole family, Lilani, was so much fond of her that it was unbelievable. I don't think there was anybody that I know that has created that there was somebody like her in the whole world. I don't really know anybody else. And to me, that was fantastic. And it was a joy to be, having her in the family, having her at home. And she was wonderful, really. She was out of the world. I mean, she was great. And I'm so grateful for having had the opportunity of so many years spending with her.
Great. And we're grateful that you had you. I also want to say that we're so grateful for Nina, who Mom lived with Nina and Mahmood for so many years. And, thank you for looking after her, for caring for her, and for everything that you did during all these years. She was so happy to be with all of us. And Nina, much of that is because you welcomed her into your home. So thank you.
I think Devika wants to say something.
Yes, there's so much love in the room today, and that's all because of Sherbanoo Auntie. My association goes back 54 years with the Nathani family. And I just want to say that her love lives through every one of you. Junie, Pinky, Mahmood, Imran, Rashad, all the great-grandchildren, the grandchildren. I mean, she's an extraordinary lady in that. Look at the love in the room today. It's amazing. And she was so, so kind to me, especially, after my mother died when I was about 15 years old. She was always welcoming, always so, so generous in her love, her food. And I just want to tell you that the most precious piece of paper that I have is this. I don't know whether you all can see it, but it's a kebab recipe that she gave my ma. And this is Sherbanoo Auntie's handwriting. This is from 55 years ago. It's very precious to me. And she's got, she says things like 2 annas worth of shajira, 4 annas worth of jawatri, 4 red chilies, cut the onions fine and fry them golden brown. It's been an absolute pleasure and joy to know her and to know that she lives through every one of you. God bless you, Sherbanoo Auntie. May you be at peace now and always. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you, Buri. Devika, that was really beautiful. I just want to also acknowledge a few people who've been on the phone that I just want to say, hello to, and Maliha from Karachi, Mrs. Krishna from down the road, Papa from Toronto, of course, Umar from Austin. Preeta and Sabina were on the call, and they've bought many a scarf and woolen outfit that Mom has made over the years.
Mahmood, I would actually like to say a word about that.
Please go ahead, Preeta.
I could not buy enough scarves from your mom. They were so loved by everyone that every time she bought it, I'd call Junie and say, I want 6. And I know Junie told me that I was being greedy, but I feel privileged to have one on now and to be wrapped in her presence. There's so much been said about her. I don't think I could match any of your words, but she was absolutely an amazing lady till the last week. Every time I spoke to her, she asked about every member of my family, and she would recall things that I don't recall. So she was a woman who really could connect with everyone at every level and was extremely gracious. And I'm going to live by her wrapped with this scarf and her absolutely delicious chicken sandwiches and samosas. Thank you.
Thanks, Preeta. I also wanted to mention that Shani Chinoy and Shani and Mickey are very good friends of Mom and Dad from Cal. They've been on the line, and I want to acknowledge Nasreen Mami, Nazreen Mamu's wife, and Mom was very close to her, and also Arshad and Lois. Arshad and Lois were one of the last folks to visit, probably just a few weeks ago before she passed away. So just thank you, all of you too, for being on the call. And I'm sure there are people we've forgotten, but I see Mami Jan and Nargis, and also he goes by Asghar Karamali, but we know him as Paki Uncle, and yeah, and just
also like to thank Munira Auntie from Bombay, who also joined us. Mummy spent a lot of wonderful times with her when she was in Bombay. So Munira auntie, thank you for joining us.
Mahmood, I think I also saw my old school friend Rajendra Suraya earlier on.
Yes, Farid Mamu, I in fact, right up front, I said the Soraya's name. They were there, and it was really nice to have them as well. And, you know, just Isabella and Dali and Natasha and Susan, just a lot. We've missed so many people, but it's been delightful to have everybody. And we're really, really glad that you've joined us. And so I think, thank you so very much. And Cindy as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Well,
thank you very much.
Thanks. If you wanted, we just say bye to everybody. And did you want to say anything?
Shirley wants to say something.
I just wanted to say thank you. All my memories of your mother have been happy ones. And that is something you can say about very few people. Mickey and I really loved her. And we were so sorry, selfishly, when she left. Although I know it was the right decision for her. I'm sorry that we won't be seeing her again. All the best to you.
Thanks, Shani. In regards to Mickey, and I wanted to just say hello to Aisha and Darius and Dinyar. And I know Uzair joined us and Liza. And well,
Thank you.
All the best to you.
For including us in this wonderful tribute.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so
everybody.
much.
And we'll see how
Thank you, everyone.
we'll,
Thank you, Mahmood.
Thank you,
and
Pinky.
Thank you.
Thank you,
everybody.
Pinky.
And thank you for letting me speak. And
Yes.
Auntie Sherry was so very, very special to me. And whenever she wore a sari, she would phone me and say, you know, I'm wearing one of your saris.
Oh.
And she was like a little baby when she would receive a gift, and joy on her face. She was just so special. And I just missed picking up the phone and talking to her. It was so sort of instinctive just to talk to her when I needed to say something. So,
thanks, Afroz. I wanted to mention Razia and Afroz Muhammad and also Munis, and Karnisa as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Auntie and Gulshan auntie.
Yes, and Abha and Jyoti and Rita from Calcutta. I don't know how the recording will come out, but I'll check it out. And if it's any good, then I'd be happy to send it to anybody who'd like. But
yeah, please do. At least we just like to keep that.
Yes, Mahmood. I too would like to receive it, please.
So I'm going to test it out and convert it and see how it comes. And if it's good, I'll send a message to everybody I sent the Zoom invite to, saying that if you'd like it, here's the link. And yeah, great.
Thank you.
Okay,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
All
right.
Bye-bye. Thanks, everyone.
Stay well. Stay safe. And
Allah Hafiz.
Tribute to your mother, but she deserved it.
Yes.
She was a wonderful person. I'm sure everyone agrees.
Yes,
Absolutely, yes.
And she will be missed, and a huge void for all of us, really.
No, Papa wants to say something. Papa, you're on mute at the moment. Papa, you're on mute. It's you're still on mute.
Anyway, maybe I could jump in.
Yes, please do.
Mahmood, Pinky and Juni, what a wonderful tribute. I remember the days in Calcutta with Salim Bhai and Sherbanoo Bhai and Sherry. I used to call her Sherry, I used to call her Sherbanoo Bhai, and I was always welcome in your home. And you were a little boy, and Juni and Pinky were there, and I was there practically every 2 or 3 days. I'd visit, I'd be having dinner, we'd be playing rummy, and Salim Bhai and I we played cricket quite often in Calcutta. And also we played at the Nizam's Palace when that was very, very earlier, much earlier. When Kasuba was also there. it was a wonderful, 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 wonderful time of our lives, really, growing up. Of course, Ninubai was a dear friend of Sherbanoo Bai. And then when they left for Dhaka, I jumped in and became a regular at your place. I remember you so well, and you were so warm and so funny, and you were really funny. You were a lovely kid. So with Sherbanoo Bai, our last conversations with her were, I think, from Uzair's place. Yeah. And she was so welcoming. She really wanted us to come over and visit. And we thought we would, but it was hard to make plans and come to Maryland. So I'm sorry that I didn't make that final effort. But love to all of you from Wahida and myself. Khuda Hafiz.
Thank you, Paki Uncle. Papa, you could please say something, Papa. Go ahead. We can't hear you still. So, not sure. No.
Can we just say thank you, Mahmood?
Is that Kernisa?
Yes.
Yeah, please, Kernisa, go ahead and then.
Just, we wanted to say thank you. So we have the grandkids and they all watched this and they were all so moved and touched. And I was telling stories about Sherbanoo auntie. And I yesterday taught my granddaughter knitting. And I actually told her that Sherbanoo auntie was some person who inspired me to actually do all these things. I started knitting only a few months ago, but I taught my granddaughter knitting, and I wanted you to know that they know about her as well and the inspiration that she's had. And this was a beautiful tribute, and everybody participated here.
Oh, and Mom was so fond of your mom, Bulbul auntie, and so close to her. I wanted to just briefly mention that Mom was so fond of her brother, Rafiq's Rafiq and Nargis and Razia's father, KG, and of course Farida Appa, Dilshad Appa, and Asif's mother, Meena. She was very, very close to them, and we didn't really get a chance to include them, but you saw a lot of their pictures in the whole tribute. So I just wanted to mention that.
That photograph is so gorgeous. I want to see it again. It's
We
so
must
beautiful.
thank Amy for that. And if the actual recording doesn't work well, we'll get the YouTube from Amy and we'll pass it along to whoever wants it, because that's by itself, it's separate here.
Yeah, I'll put the YouTube link on the comments. I'll put the YouTube link on the comments for people so they can have a look at
Yeah.
as well.
And Papa wanted to say something. Well, let's see if we can hear you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yeah, briefly. Yes, we can hear you faintly.
Okay. I just wanted to say thank you so much, Mahmood, for including me in this wonderful tribute to Sherry auntie. She was very, very dear to me. I was very close to her. She's one of the loveliest ladies, very warm and caring. And she will always have a special place in her heart, and I will miss her dearly.
Thank you, Papa. All right. Well, I'm just going to leave this on for a few minutes for people who just want to. We're in no hurry to end the session, so if people just want to stay on, that's fine. If you need to leave, it's been a long time. But I know there's some family members who may want to just say hello, and some friends as well. So please, we'll just leave it open for a few more minutes for whoever wants to chat.
Mahmood bhai.
Yes.
Okay to cry. You, Pinky, and Judy, it's okay to cry. I'm here for you.
Thank you, Minnie. That's so sweet of you. And yeah.
You are always in my heart. I know it feels lonely in the house. I know it's so lonely in the house. And that's how I feel about my daddy. I know Slim Mom and Shitty Mommy are gone. It's okay if you want to cry if you want to. Okay?
Yep. Thanks, Minnie. No, thank you so much.
I love Pinky and I love Junie and the grandchildren. I'll let you go ahead. shut off.
Okay. Khudafis, Mini.
Khudafis.
Mahmood, I think there's a way to save the chat.
Yes. So Mikhal and Rian are if you could sort of figure out how to save the chat, and I've made you both co-hosts, and so it would be nice. We've got some really nice messages over there, so it'd be nice to save the chat here. Before we end the session, maybe we have to do something for that.
Okay, I've just saved it.
Okay. I wanted to just say a hello to Mami Jan, and so see how she's doing, and so nice to have you. Yes, thank you for. Hi, Nargis. Yeah, I know you're on mute at the moment. It's okay. We just wanted to say hello to you. Yeah. Pinky, Junie, did you want to say something, or should I end the session?
No, just if Rian and Mikhal, I don't know, I saved the chat, but I don't know if I have it in the right folder. So if you do it as a backup too.
Yeah, I clicked the save chat button as well. I don't really know where that sends it, but I'll take a look.
Okay.
Okay, Mahmood, sorry, I was just managed to unmute. I don't know what I was doing. I'm so unsavvy with all this. I'm so sorry. But God bless you all. That was so beautiful. Brought back so many memories of Hoima, which was really mashallah, mashallah, and mashallah. May God really bless you all. I mean, you all are the continuation of that, mashallah. May God continue. The mummy wants to just say a few words.
Yes, thank you so much, all of you, for a wonderful lesson. Thank you. God bless you.
And she always remembered my birthday. She would ring up and wish me wherever I was. And mashallah, God bless her. There were so many things we have very, very fond memories of. God bless you all.
And it's really nice to see Mami Jan and Ahmad Uncle as well. So really glad you
Praise
joined.
God, yes. Good to see you all, mashallah.
Mahmood, Junie and Pinky, I just wanted to say how much Lois and I enjoyed being on this remembrance today. And I also wanted to say that I hope you all realize how much of the beauty of your mother and your father's spirit lives on in the three of you. And in your children. One felt that very strongly throughout this session, that their sweetness and kindness and concern for others is so present in your character. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Arshad. She really enjoyed your visit the last time, and those beautiful lemon cupcakes you baked at home. Even though she ended up eating just half of them and I ended up eating 5 of them, but she really, really appreciated them because she loved lemon cupcakes. I also wanted to thank Munawar for joining from Portland, and I know Shireen joined from Toronto. Thanks, Munu, and I hope Munira Auntie got to see some of it.
Thank you, Mahmood, for arranging this beautiful tribute and to a great person, and really enjoyed it. Thanks.
Do you know whether Munira Auntie was able to see some of it?
Yes, I think she did join at the beginning. I don't know if she dropped out at some point, but yeah, she did watch.
Okay. Yeah.
Rish, it's past midnight in Singapore, right?
It is past
Okay,
midnight.
no, just almost midnight.
Well, it's almost midnight, so we'll be logging off soon. But I'm having fun just listening to some of the stories and stuff, and messaging people after they've spoken, saying hi as well. So this is a unique time to say hi to everyone. So it's been really nice. But yeah, we're going to log off very soon.
Thank you, everyone. Should we bring that to a close, Mahmood?
Mahmood's going to find a lemon cupcake.
Yeah, no, I'm back, and I think yes, yeah, we'll close the session now with a final thank you and deep appreciation to everybody, and really, it's been lovely, and it's made it so much. It's such a nice way to pay tribute to Mom, and sort of at least in some people's mind bring a little bit of closure, although there's never closure. But it was really heartwarming and touching. So thank you so much. I'm going to close the session now, and bye-bye, everyone.
Thanks
so much. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Thank you. God
Bye.
bless you all.